Hey, Sunshine. Nice to see you again. Okay, let's keep our fingers crossed. I've had a crazy amount of technical difficulties here, but away we go. Now, there were two things just to get started that I didn't mention in the intro videos, and I want to make sure I do that. First is ginger pills, probably seeing that backwards. And the next are the acupuncture little pressure point things that you can get from the pharmacy department at London Drugs or whatever you have. Now, the reason that I bring this up is that a lot of these poses are inverted, what they call inverted. In other words, your head goes below your heart. Now, a lot of people can experience nausea when you're starting. If you have neck injuries, like I do, or just, something going on. I found that these things work like a charm. When I was doing the training course, I took the ginger pills and also wore these things for the first week, and then it just, I started to forget them, etc., and then things were good. So we're going to get started right away now. This should take about 25 minutes, so we'll see what the actual timing is when we get there. You'll notice my hair is up. I'm also wearing a fairly tight-fitting outfit. This is because when you're doing some of these inversion poses, guess what? Your t-shirt goes up, and basically it'll feel like you're wearing a mask. Totally not our outcome. Also, just tuck the top of your shirt into your pants, and then when you're doing your downward dogs, etc., there's no, boob shows going on. All right, so we're gonna start out. I got my mat going on an angle so that you can see me, so I'll be flipping around a bit. I'm gonna start we're gonna start out with a practice of the 4-8 breathing and kind of a bit of an invocation. So you're gonna be at the top of your mat, generally facing that way, following your mat. I like to sit on a cushion whenever I'm sitting. It raises my spine up and in general works well for me. I'm wearing glasses for this practice so I can read this little sequence that I've written out. So let's go for it. The first thing I want you to do is we're going to put our hand on actually let's go with the 4-8 breaths first. So we're going to go in through the nose for a count of 4, and then we're going to go out for a count of 8, and we'll do that 4 times. So once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, in through the nose, now out through the breath, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again. Last one. Okay, right hand on your heart, left hand on your solar plexus. May this practice nurture and strengthen our bodies and our minds. May this practice nurture and strengthen our bodies and our minds. Thank you. All right, Sunshine. So we're going to start out with the moon squats, which I warned you about. When we're doing our hour-long practice, there'll be a series of 3 of these. 5 moon squats, so which would be 15 altogether. We're going to just start with 5 to give you a taste of it. Okay, so this is going to go, I'm going to go sideways so you can get a look at this. Now you want to have your feet on the outskirts of the mat, about a 15-degree fold out. Squat down. I like to hold my hands like this. The other way to do it is just have your hands palms up, just lightly balancing. All of the pressure is to go on your back, your legs, and having your butt down. Okay, so we're going to go up. Now I have a neck problem, so I'm not going to lean back. You could go right back with your head. You're going to reach for the sky. And then we're going to incorporate the breathing. So Make your fists on the mat. Next one. Again. Last one. Okay, so slowly bring yourself up to a standing position. You want to have your feet about shoulders width apart, like so. The other thing I forgot to tell you about is you're going to want a timer, and I'll explain that during this pose so you get a sense of it. So I'm going to flip my timer on right now. We're going to just slowly bend your knees as much as you need to until you can get your hands on the floor. Now, there's two variations to this. You want your stretch to be through your back legs, and that's why you bend the knees, because it takes the pressure off the back. So now, you can hold on your elbows, just kind of rest your torso on the tops of your thighs. If it's more comfortable, you can go down like so. You don't want to have your hands facing forward and taking the weight on your palms. If you have your hands down, keep them basically so that they're just, hanging out on the mat. Now you want your neck and head to be super relaxed, and you're just going to hold here. Now this is going to help elongate your muscles. This is fabulous for your back. This is actually a hamstring strengthening exercise. So now let's start our 4-8 breathing and have some practice with that. So in through the nose, 1, 2, 3, 4. Out through the mouth, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you keep going with that. Now I'm going to explain the 3 principles of gravity yoga while we're down here. We have the wet noodle pose, which so as much as possible we want to be like a wet noodle, just hang it out. We're letting gravity do the pose. Obviously you can't 100% do that here. You've got to hold your muscles to have yourself standing up. But as much as possible, we just want to let everything hang. Gravity will do the work. Now the second principle is the 4-8 breathing, which you're working on right now. It does a lot for you. The first thing it does is bypass the stretch reflex, which we talked about before and we'll talk about again. The body's natural, instinctive need to protect the vital organs by clamping down the stretch response and saying, no, that's enough. We're not doing any more of that. The second is it gives you something to think about. There are times, maybe this is even one of them right now, when it gets pretty intense. We're almost there. We got 30 seconds more to go. And the other principle of the gravity yoga is the timing, meet or beat. So for instance, you had to stop here. We've given this a time of 3 minutes and you make 2 minutes. That means that from here on in, there isn't going to be any time that you don't get past your 2 minute. 2 minute is your personal level. And so it's time for us to pull out of this, like gently. We've made 3 minutes. Just gently curl up. Gently curl up. That's awesome. All right. Stretch. Awesome. Okay. Doing great. So now we're going to go into the child pose. So you're going to go down, basically on your knees, sit back on your bum, just like so. And then we're going to pull up on our hands and knees and reach up into the downward dog position, which is like so. And then we're going to go into 3 plank poses, just as a reset. So that means we're just gonna shoot over here. You're looking straight ahead, your body is straight. I don't know how mine looks. You don't want to be dipping down in the center. And just hold that. Drop your knees. Go back into child again. Up into the dog pose. And back into plank. Looking straight ahead, keep your body straight, pull back through your heels in the opposite direction. Okay, drop those knees, go back into child again, reset. This is your last plank. So down, back again, back into dog. And now we're going to do something called a blaster. Now, so I like to put a pillow under my knee here. This is for your hip now. So I'm going to put a pillow under my left knee. This sometimes becomes hard. Got my hands here. I'm going to take my other leg, which would be my right leg, and we're going to have it in a kind of a right angle position here, like so. Now, we're going to hold this pose for 3 minutes, sunshine, so this is going to separate the girls. Now, this is where your props come in. It may feel really good. This is where you want to keep your props close. So, one way of doing this is to have your hands up like this. And there are lots of different things. Now, you've got your hip joint needs quite a bit of pressure in order to have any kind of, we're actually trying to stretch the fascia. So, you're going to feel this one. I've assigned 3 minutes for this. This may or may not. In fact, maybe I'll just make it 2 minutes for each leg. All right. So let's practice the 48 breathing while we're doing this. Now remember also the wet noodle. We don't need any stress in our neck, any other part of our body. This is simply a gravity yoga pose to open and elongate stretch the fascia muscles in our hips. So anything else you need to do, you might need 4 blocks, you might need a pillow. When you get further into this, you might want to have your head on something. Anything's good. And you remember, do the breathing and keep yourself safe. Now this can quickly get quite intense, so this is when the breathing can be a big help. Okay, so we're at the 2 minute mark now, so we're going to quickly and gently, we're going to go back into child's pose, just kind of do a reset here. Now, and then we're going right into the next one. Now, I like to move my pillow just straight away over here. I'm going to reset my timer as we go. And I'm going to put my left leg up. Now, essentially, you want to actually have it a little bit past your hands. So now we're back into our stretch again. And without ado, if I was you, I'd just go right into the 4-8 breathing. Okay? And remember the wet noodle principle. All of a sudden, you'll realize that your muscles just let go a little bit and it'll be all, fine and dandy. Like, you don't want to make too many adjustments throughout this, but if you feel the need to do something, you take care of yourself. End of story. Now, I wanted to say something about the memory portion of us talking about memory being stored in muscles, and when things elongate and loosen, all of a sudden you can find yourself walking down the street in the midst of a memory. Now, this is super cool. It likely won't happen while you're doing the workouts, because these poses are fairly intense, and you will be mostly concerned with just maintaining this and keeping the breath work going. But later, when you find that your muscles are changing, the structure's changing, you may experience some of these things we've been talking about. And when you do, the beauty of this is that this program is so healthy. You're simply walking it off. It's like, thank you so much. It's cleared a space in your vehicle for something else. In fact, we can't move forward a lot of times until we've kind of dissolved some of these patterns. So, that I have found has been one of the coolest things about working in this way. Okay, we're coming up on the 2-minute mark now. Essentially, very slowly, very gently, we're going to go back. We're going to go in here into the child pose. Now, this pose that we just completed is called the blaster pose. And you did extremely well. That was a very, very challenging pose. Now, we're going to go up on our stomachs now and do a reset. This is called the Sphinx. Now, you're going to have your elbows under your shoulders. Just have your feet about shoulder width apart and with the tops down. And get your fingers widened. You're gripping the mat. And you're going to pull up with your chest and look forward. And this, of course, is for your spine. Now, keep your neck safe. No need to go back with your neck. Just keep yourself relaxed, and let's go for some 4 to 8 breathing. In through the nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out through the mouth. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you keep that breathing going up on your own now, while you're practicing as much as you can the wet noodle principle. So in other words, your elbows and your hands are holding you up, but the rest of your body can fully relax to the best of your ability to allow you to have the benefits of this stretch. So in through the nose, 1, 2, 3, 4. Out through the nose, the mouth, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As much as you can, push your heart out. Let your buttocks relax, your legs. Let your body melt into your mat. In through the nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out through the mouth. Let it all relax. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now we're in the last few seconds of this pose. We're just going to go back into the child's pose again for a reset. And then come up to sitting on your mat. And again, I like to always have a pillow when I'm working this way. So I'm going to show you this one this way. We're going to do what's called the butterfly. And essentially, you want to put your heels together. You want to have at least 5 lengths here with your fist to make this work properly. So your heels are out quite a bit. Now this is where you might want to put a prop underneath here. You'll decide. So the idea of this pose is to let your hips go out to the side. So we're wanting to keep our spine straight. Now I'm conflicted as to whether I should have gone the other way or not to give you the demo, but essentially I want my spine not curled over because that's how you got back problems. So I'm going down as opposed to down. And I'll leave it up to you whether you want to have any kind of balance material under your legs. So basically I'm just going to go down and we're going to hold this pose for 2 minutes. Again, you keep track. I screwed up there. Again, you keep track of what works for you. So down we go, down, down, down. Now some people want to have a couple of pillows to prop their neck up. Somebody go like this. Depends on how far you get. Just don't stress your neck. And you can get right into the 4-8 breathing. And keep it up on your own. 1, 2, 3, 4, in through the nose, out through the mouth. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You keep the breathing going now. As you let gravity do its job, just put your focus on your hip joints and just allow them to move downward in a gentle, easy fashion. Make sure there's no strain whatsoever on your back or your neck. Remembering the wet noodle portion where you're just allowing everything to fully relax. Doing the breath work really helps with that, particularly on the out breath. Okay, we've achieved our 2-minute time period. Excellent. Good job. Okay, so now we're going to just do a quick little reset, something called the tabletop. You're going to go, just sit down, have your feet out in front of you, your hands back so your hands are facing the same direction, fingers pointing towards your feet. And we're just going to do 4 of these tabletops, which are resets. So essentially just 1. Now, if your neck's not bothering you, you can go all the way back. Okay? And then down again. And then up again. And then down again. Up. Down. Last one. Up. And down. Now you're going to slowly roll on your back, and we're going to do, this is called a couple of things. It's called a lying down pigeon pose. It's also called threading the needle. So you're going to bring your left leg up. You're going to cross your right ankle right there and thread through here, and we're going to hold this. And that's all there is to it. Now it's a safe, nice pose. I've just got to grab my timer. It's a safe, nice pose. It's one of my favorites. I don't know why, I just really like it. But your spine and your head and your neck are really fully supported. You're going to keep your arms straight here and just pull on that knee. And as you can see, when you pay attention to the hip, it's just gently putting that hip into place, allowing it to stretch out and do a little more for you. So we're going to start right away with our 4-8 breathing. And you keep going with this while I tell you a little bit more. We're at the 1 minute mark now, one more minute. So keep going with your breathing. Now the hip joints are hugely powerful. These are areas that have maybe never opened up in your entire life. So what I love about this is that they have been an amazing place for trauma to get stuck and feel safe being stuck. There's nothing that's been getting in there and reaching in and opening these areas up. You know, first time in your life, pretty much. Where are we at? Okay, we got another 30 seconds, so keep going with your 4 to 8 breath. So just, you know, as you're doing this, give these areas permission to just relax and cleanse. Relax and cleanse. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful thing. All right, one more breath. Okay, gently shake your legs out. Without further ado, you're basically just going to put your left leg on top and reach through, and again, here we go. Now, you may find right away that both sides of your body are not the same at all. So, and that's all fine. You want to treat this like it's a development process. And it's also very interesting. So your memories and your emotional things, there may be more in one side or the other. You may feel like the stiffness just amazing in one side, and you know, it almost feels like nothing's happening in the second. It's all good. Now let's go with some breathing. For some reason, my cat really likes this particular exercise. And animals are amazing for taking on your emotional stress also. So maybe we've hit the mother load, you know, with this one. Okay, we got 1 more minute to go. So this is when the breathing can take into effect. You can also have some soft, nice music playing in the background. That's very helpful. I don't want to do it here because it interferes with my voice. As you can see, I've got enough interferences happening here. Wow, hey. Thank you, kitty. Ten more seconds.